All right, it is 6 p.m. and I will call this meeting of the Lunenburg Town Council to order. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge that we are meeting in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. I'd also like to recognize that today is International Women's Day, and one need only look around the room to see the critical contribution that women make to this particular organization, and I think that worthy of recognition. All right, with that, I will look for a motion to approve the agenda as circulated. Moved by Councillor Sanford, seconded by Councillor Bertels. Are there any additions or deletions? Seeing none. All those in favor? Opposed? The motion is carried. Takes us on to the meeting minutes of February 22nd. Can I get a motion to approve those as circulated? Moved by Councillor Sanford, seconded by Councillor Ernst. Are there any errors or omissions to note? Seeing none. All those in favor? Opposed? The motion is carried. We have a presentation of the quarterly report from the RCMP. We are joined tonight by Corporal John Payne and Constable Sonia Upshaw. So I will turn the floor over to them for 10 minutes to present the quarterly report, and we will follow with 5 minutes of questions.
Good afternoon, everybody. I just would like to say thanks for having me tonight. And is it on? Thank you. My name is Constable Sonia Upshaw. I'm the Community Liaison Officer for Lunenburg District, and I will be presenting the quarterly policing report for the town of Lunenburg. Heather, would you like to go, would you mind going to the page, Lunenburg Call for Service, please? Thank you so much. Between October the 1st and December 31st, 2021, Lunenburg District RCMP received a total of 2,783 call for service. 194 of those call for service were in the town of Lunenburg. These include Criminal Code, Controlled Drug and Substance Act, and Provincial Act investigation. The total of check stop completed was 7. False alarm was 4. Well-being check was 6. Mental health call were 8. Sudden death were 1. Crime prevention was 12. 911 call, including the false alarm, was 17. Assist to general public was a total of 3. Can you go to the second page? There was a few notable occurrences that occurred. First file was the police file number. It's 2021-15 77787 that occurred in October 20th. 2021 member arrived and a report of fraud exceeding $10,000. An employee of the business is currently being investigated, and the investigation is still ongoing. Second file notable was file number, it's 2021-16-66-402. And the occurrence occurred on November 5, and 2021 member received a report of possible impaired driving on Duffin Street at approximately 5:30 p.m. Member attending the location, driver was in the vehicle. And the investigation reported that the driver was intoxicated. The driver was arrested and charged accordingly. The driver pled guilty and was sentenced. The third file that was noticeable at police file number 2021-18-59-35-1 that occurred on December 15, 2021. Member were called to a complaint of mischief at the MLA office. The suspect was already on a valid Property Protection Act to not attend the MLA office. The suspect was apprehended, arrested, and charged. The matter is currently before the court. Would you mind to go to the other page, please, Etta? The fourth occurring file that it's notable, file number, it's 2021-18-86-35. That occurred in December 21st, 2021. Member responded to the Fisherman Memorial Hospital for a complaint of intoxicated female. The SOC was on condition not to consume alcohol. So a single charge of fail to comply with her condition was laid. She was taken to cell, she was lodged and remanded. The matter is currently before court. Since the last reporting period, the Little Dale RCMP has not received any further complaint regarding this female who was going from door to door asking residents for money. Other international internal partners have been able to assist this female with their personal needs. Some community events occur in Lunenburg, which one of them was on November the 6th, 2021. Myself, I organized a joint effort checkpoint with the South Shore Traffic, EHS, multiple fire department, DNR, and the fishery. During the 2 hours long checkpoint, we made contact with over 700 vehicle to I should say driver regarding the slow down and move over legislation. Thank you. Regarding the COVID-19 enforcement, during the fourth quarter, Lunenburg District member responded to 4 files related to the Quarantine Act and the Health Protection Act. The major of those files include in-person check to the individual required to self-isolate after entering Canada from abroad. Currently, when traveler enter Canada, they are required to register with the CBSA and to provide an isolation address. During the quarantine period, a file is generated to the local police of jurisdiction to monitor the self-isolation compliance. No violations of local isolation requirement have been found. Those are those stats for town of Lunenburg and the municipal of district of Lunenburg. Then if there are required, I'm able to show you those stats. Is there, as you could see, okay, you see those stats? Yeah, thank you so much. Is there any question that you have that I could answer?
Thank you, Constable Upshaw. Heather, could you just stop the clock so it doesn't sound in the middle of the question period? Are there any questions of counselors at this stage? Counselor Sanford.
Thank you. I was just wondering if you can help me understand, and I don't know, I can't see from here if it's on the slide with regards to, I know harassment pops up in one of those reports and types of crime. Can you help me to understand what constitutes harassment? And I ask this in the context of, I know that we have some challenges with neighbors getting along. And I'm just wondering if some of those issues fall under harassment, or how is it that those folks might be able to reach out to you? I know they have, right, to be able to resolve what's happening.
Yeah.
But can you help me understand harassment, please?
Would you mind providing an example? Then I could.
So it's just, it could be, I'll just use this as an example.
example, yeah.
It could be verbal harassment.
Yeah.
So that, you know, there's inappropriate conversations or language that's being used between neighbors that is.
Verbal harassment. If we're talking about that topic, it would be constituting of on a regular basis.
Yeah.
That after the person was told not to have any contact or not to say anything to the other party, they continuing to do so.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any further questions of councilors at this stage? Seeing none, I have one, and maybe other councilors have been doing this too, but I've been getting the sense that there's a great deal of concern in the community about parking enforcement when there are snowstorms, winter parking. And I'd like to know, what the RCMP is doing with regard to that, with snow clearing and related issues.
At this point, I will have to investigate it a little bit longer on this topic because I'm not aware of it.
Mhm.
But I could speak with my Corporal Payne and come back to you with that.
Corporal Payne, do you have anything to add?
Thanks.
If you could just come down to the mic so they can hear you online.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I've spoken directly to the municipality, and
Mhm.
we've come up with a couple ideas in regards to the snow plowing, and the issues was for them to call us in regards to when it's occurring. We'll try to get there. We'll try to get, if they could provide license plates, we can call the people that own the vehicles, or at least come down, knock on the door. If we're tied up, they understand that through the conversations with the municipality.
Mhm.
So that's where we're at right now. We haven't, I know there was a mix up there a couple of months ago with one of the first original snowstorms. I think there was a mix up in regards to, and I think there was a mix up on our end with our telecoms, and it just seemed that the messages weren't getting through. But I fixed that with the members in Lilydale Detachment.
Okay.
So that problem shouldn't be a problem anymore.
Okay, no, I appreciate that. And I know we tend to be, thankfully, a relatively quiet community, but it's always good when these public irritants get nipped in the bud before they become bigger issues than,
Not a problem.
we all hope them to be. So thank you for that.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions at this stage? Seeing none, thank you, Corporal Payne. Thank you, Constable Upshaw.
Thank you.
We'll look forward to seeing you for the next quarterly report.
Thank you.
All right, that takes us on to correspondence. There was a letter regarding a regional housing needs assessment for Lunenburg County. I suspect that is now moot, given that the province has decided that they will provide a housing needs assessment for all 49 municipalities. There's also the call for nominations for the Order of Nova Scotia and a reply from the Attorney General regarding our 2023 RCMP collective agreement letter. That takes us on to unfinished business, and there is an update on the fire hall apron replacement, so I will turn it over to staff to speak to that.
Thank you, Your Worship. As council is aware, in the 21-22 capital budget, $55,000 was approved for this project. In November 2021, Englobe Corp completed the tender package. The tender was advertised and closed on January 7th. After discussion with the fire chief and the fire hall superintendent, it was determined that the patch repair work that occurred on the apron in the summer of 21 will be sufficient to extend the useful life for approximately 2 more years. So therefore, staff will not be awarding this tender to allow for higher priority items to be recommended in the 22-23 capital budget. It is important to note that the tender package that Englobe did for us will remain valid when this project resumes. This report is for council's information only, so no action.
Thank you, Lisa Kay. Have to specify now. Got lots of Lisas on the go. That takes us on to committee meeting minutes, recommendations, reports, and notices of motion. There are the Project Lunenburg steering team meeting notes for February 16th. And that takes us on to the proposed staff report and notice of motion regarding low-income property tax relief in 2021. The finance director could summarize that for us, please.
Certainly. Thank you, Your Worship. So as we are in the midst of budget season, we have brought forward this report regarding low-income property tax relief for council's consideration. Our current policy grants up to $500 for those households under $22,377. However, the income levels are on the low range, as noted by the various stats report provided in the report. So therefore, staff are recommending our income thresholds be increased for households under $40,000. Staff also did a review with other municipal units to see the grant levels that were provided. And so we're also recommending an increase in the maximum grants to $1,000 and the lowest level at $250. There has been in the past pretty little participation in this project, in this program. I think mainly because the income levels were so low. And so it is anticipated with the changes in this program that it will require a $40,000 budget, which is a significant increase over the previous years. I did provide to councils this evening just some background information. I think I might have missed you, Your Worship, when I was handing out just to show how those budget numbers were arrived at. I can share that with you later.
Yeah.
There is the notice of motion there if council
Yeah,
wishes to
so
proceed.
this is a policy amendment and so requires under the MGA, I believe it's 7 days notice. So we wouldn't be debating this tonight. If anybody would like to ask questions at this stage, that's perfectly fine. We just need somebody to pick this up and give a notice that they'll move it at our March 22nd meeting. Moved by the Deputy Mayor. Councillor Sanford with a question? Oh, so the Deputy Mayor gave notice. So this will come back and you can second it on the 22nd. Just give an opportunity if there are any questions at this stage. Seeing none, okay. And the same thing for adjustments to our commemorative flag raising requests policy. I believe the Assistant Municipal Clerk is going to speak to that.
Yep, this item comes from the Recreation Director and myself. The suggestion is to repeal the 2017 procedural policy commemorative flag requests and replace it with a broader policy commemorative flags and proclamations. The new policy enumerates annual half-mast events, special purpose flag raisings, and commemorative proclamations of council so that once established, pre-authorization is not required every year. An updated application is also included to handle new requests, which would still come before council, but it includes an ask if people wish to repeat. So there we
Okay.
have it.
All right, and then anybody's pleasure to give that notice? Councillor Ernst giving notice. Any questions at this stage? Nope. All right, that takes us on to new business, study to determine average housing rental rates in Lunenburg, which also speaks to the Department of Municipal Affairs and their housing needs assessment. So there is a draft motion as provided, and I will turn it over to staff to provide their report.
The report will be short. Certainly, council had set a course to do the work that is currently being undertaken by the province, and we really don't feel the need at this point to replicate that. And so we've made the decision to leave the $20,000 in the draft budget for the time being, primarily to provide either A, a little bit of flexibility as other things come up, or B, if we find there's a piece of work that we want to expand on or build on, when the time comes, we'll have a few dollars to do that. So
Okay, so is it anybody's moving and seconding? Moved by the Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Halverson. Any questions, comments, discussion, or debate at this stage? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed, the motion is carried. Now I need a motion to meet in camera to consider the matters listed there pursuant to section 22.2 of the Municipal Government Act, moved by Councillor Sanford, seconded by Councillor Birtles. All those in favor? Opposed, and with council's unanimous consent, we will take a 10-minute recess and reconvene at 6:00.